All right, pre-K report.
Good evening. A lot of great things happening in Grosse Pointe today. Just wanted to start today by saying thank you for giving us this opportunity to give you some information in regards to our pre-K advisory committee that we've had started since June. So in June, district leadership, we started a process of reviewing our current preschool programming, investigating different ways that we could expand this program. This extensive process involves stakeholders from elementary buildings, district leadership, parents, teachers, board members, while we also surveyed the community in regards to what the community needs were in regards to preschool programming. We based this on several factors. Some of those factors were current wait lists, available space in elementary buildings, additional options that parents could have, and also we wanted to highlight our district as a place that we would want to raise a family. But before we go into depth in regards to our programming, I want to look at the history of our program, and I'm going to ask Andrea and Sarah to come up and give a brief history of our programming, preschool programming in Grosse Pointe.
Good evening. So we are in our 6th year as a program, and we started in 2010. We had one classroom serving ages 2.5 to 5, and over the last several years, we've increased our programming to include 7 classrooms. We also have 2 locations. We have 6 classrooms for infants through infant, toddler through pre-kindergarten, all within Barnes Early Childhood Center, and then we have 1 classroom for pre-kindergarten students ages 4 and 5 in our Trombley building, so within our elementary building. That's something, as you have heard in the past several months, we are hoping to continue to expand. We are open full day at this time, 7:15 until 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday, almost every day of the year, the calendar year. And as of fall 2015, our total approximate enrollment is 110 children. We can have 92 children per day, so this is a combination number of part-time students or less than 5-day, and then our full-time 5-day students. As I mentioned, we have the 7 classrooms. We have one classroom for infants ages 6 weeks until about 1 year of age. We have a toddler 1 is what we've affectionately called our 1 to 2 year old classroom. And then likewise, toddler 2 for ages 2 to 3. We have a preschool prep. Sounds very sophisticated, and it is. It's for our older toddlers and our younger preschool students, so it's 1 year prior to preschool. And then our preschool classroom is for ages 3 and 4, and then our 2 pre-K classrooms, again, for ages 4 and 5. And Sarah is going to share a little bit about what we do in the day to teach these wonderful young minds.
Hi, I'm Sarah Meyer. I just was going to tell you a little bit about the emergent curriculum and what we do with it on a daily basis. So the emergent curriculum includes elements of high scope, which is a curriculum that builds on children's natural curiosity and their emerging interests. We use the child observation record, and this is, I hate to use the word assessment at this age. It just kind of shows us where the children are developmentally, what we need to work on with them, and what on an individual basis, and what they're doing really well at. And then from year to year, we can see kind of if there's progression or if there's any regression. And this also aligns up with the Michigan State early childhood standards. We collect data and observations all throughout the year, and we have 2 parent-teacher conferences where we can share all this information with the parents. We also use aspects of Reggio Emilia, which is another early childhood curriculum. We focus on respect, responsibility, and community. Everything that we do takes into account the child, the parents, and their priorities, and the world around us. We encourage the children to share their thoughts and the knowledge that they've gained with us on the weekends, on their trips with their families, and then we want them to be accountable. So when they get picked up after school and say, "What did you do today?" they have a better answer than nothing, or I don't know. And then we work as a team with our parents, teachers, and children to create everything that encompasses our daily curriculum. So obviously starting at the infant age, there's a lot of parent involvement. They can give us, what they want to see in a caregiver, and we become one of their family. And then as they get older, it's more kind of like, you tell us what to do with the preschool and pre-K age. And we guide the parents through kind of the struggles that you come into contact with as the children are growing. And it's become a really great program. I just was over at Trombley, and one of the teachers said a family asked her to move in with them. And so we just really want to be an extension of the family and get them ready to go on to our kindergarten. Thank you.
So as you can see, we have some great things going on in Grosse Pointe right now with our preschool programming. We put this committee together. We've had 3 advisory committee meetings. We have a leadership team. As you can see up on the board, there's a large group of people who have been part of this whole process. Rocky, you can go 2 slides. So through this, we've had some research, leadership work, and committee input. Most of the research that we've done and some of the leadership work, we analyzed our current wait list. We took a look at our current district programming and what we were offering. We looked at program development, registration fees, salary cost structure, building space availability, state licensing requirements, local competitor offerings, different cost structures. We also looked at an annual one-time fixed cost if we were to make new programs in other buildings. We also took a look at our curriculum and material expenses. Through all that analyzing and research, we also took a look at our special education requirements and the activities that were going on at Barnes and the preschool programming at Barnes. We took a look at a district-wide expansion survey so that we could see what the community was looking at in regards to our preschool programming. We looked at the demographic, scheduling preference, and competition is some of the main focus with that survey. We also had established committee work and also some different focus areas that our leadership teams were doing. And then we have a building facilities committee, curriculum materials committee, enrollment marketing committee, and a staffing research committee, which sustained all of this work and came up with a lot of different information that you received in your packets this past week. Much of this work you found in those attachments resulted in looking at our fee structure, our pay table, our cost sheets for each program. We broke out down that information, and we broke it into a few different years. So we have a lot of information, and with that information, we made some conclusions. Some of these conclusions you can see up here on the board. We made a determination that at this time, additional infant and toddler rooms would not be considered, and one of the main reasons is it costs money to have those programs, and one of our focuses was to make sure that we were cognizant of keeping everything cost neutral. And in this case, if we were to add more of those classrooms, it wouldn't be a cost neutral process. We also took a look at our early childhood special education programming and preschool at Barnes, and we came to the determination through a committee that we felt that we needed to keep the programming to stick the same way as it is right now. We wanted to continue to have preschool operations at Barnes so that some of our early childhood special education students would have that opportunity to be with those general ed preschool students as well. We also were looking at the possibility of opening a class in January. We decided not to expand the program in January, and the reason was we contacted people who were on the current wait list, and there were only 3 people who were interested in starting in January. They didn't want to leave their current program. However, they also wished that we had this offered in September, and they would have, started, in the fall if that was the possibility. So when we started this process, we were looking at how can we get preschool in all of our buildings, all 9 buildings. And that was really our main focus. And we're coming up with a recommendation tonight that is not going to be moving forward in all buildings. And the biggest reason is because we wanted to make sure we're meeting the needs of the entire community. And at that point, when we wanted to bring preschool to all buildings, we were thinking it would be a really good thing to have our 4-year-olds in every single building. But that's not necessarily what the community fully was looking at when we looked at our survey results and through our committee work. Some parents are looking for a half-day option. Some are looking for that full-day option, which is from a 7:15 until 6 o'clock. And others are looking for a preschool option. So we wanted to be able to provide a variety of a menu of options. So the program offerings that we're looking at is a tuition 1/2 day program, which would be for 3 and 4-year-old students, a tuition full-day program, and we're also looking at a free Young Fives opportunity for our students. So to give you a little bit of information about a tuition half-day preschool, we were through taking a look at all the building availability. We were looking at, and these are some of our students, yes, that are at Barnes, pretty cute. We wanted to look at central location. We all wanted to look at the survey, which gave us a lot of results in regards to where we wanted to put some of these programmings. And we're looking at Monteith and Richard for the half-day program. This would be a 4-year-old program, which would be 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. A 3-year-old program, which would be 2 days a week. That would be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we would run those classes from 8:30 until 11:30 a.m. We would have an option for PM session if enrollment indicated that a PM session would be necessary. Our next program we're going to offer is going to be the tuition full-day preschool. We currently have that at Barnes and Trombley. We're going to open it up to 2 additional buildings, which would be Mayer and Monteith. That would be a 7:15 to 6 p.m. Flexible hours of operation as it is right now. The program is going to resemble the current pre-K offerings that's at Barnes and Trombley at this time. And then next on the list would be the free Young Fives program, which is very exciting for all of us to talk about here. This is a free full-day program which would follow the school day schedule. It's for students within the Grosse Pointe Public School system, and it would focus on our social, emotional, physical, and academic development. This program is designed as an alternative for children whose parents feel that their children are not quite ready for a kindergarten experience. This hits home for me. My daughter, she's a November birthday. She wasn't quite ready for kindergarten, we didn't think, but the preschool teacher said, yes, let's put her in kindergarten. So we did, and we're finding that she would have really benefited from a Young Fives experience being a November birthday. We're seeing that many school districts have this option, and we wanted to provide this for our students as well. Under this Young Fives programs, families that lived within the district may apply to one of the identified schools. Those identified schools are Mason, Popar, and Defer. Those are our Title I buildings. They would be taught by a Grosse Pointe Public School System teacher. Their birth date would be between March 1st and December 1st, and the minimum students to run the class would be 18. Curriculum is going to be very similar to our kindergarten curriculum, but it's going to be at a little bit slower pace or a more developmentally appropriate pace. Students who are in this class would have the opportunity the following year to return to their home building in a kindergarten setting, or they would be able to go to first grade depending on if they're socially, emotionally, academically capable of going into a first grade setting. And that would be determined through conversations with building principal and teachers and parents, obviously. We also want to make mention that our kindergarten programming is going to be the same as it's always been, our full-day kindergarten program within the buildings. I know there's been talk through our committee work that kindergarten, looking at ways to help the transition from preschool to kindergarten, and those are things that we'll continue to work with our building principals, parents, and we'll make sure that information gets out during our January information night for kindergarten, how to ease some of those transitions for students who may need a little bit easier transition into the kindergarten setting. So as you can see, we have a lot of information that we provided you, not only tonight, but also in your packet. We're really excited to expand our programming. We're looking forward to making these offers. We're going to start registration for the current kindergarten or preschool programming, the tuition-based, January 4th, and it's going to close in February. February, I believe, the 1st. Yes, February 1st. Very similarly to as we're doing it at this time. We're going to take a look at how many students we have in the enrollment process. If we have students that exceed the number of students that we have, we would have a lottery system for that. It would be similar to how we do the lottery system for the multi-age. So with that said, if you have any questions.
I thought you did a great job here. Very thorough. It was in depth. You did your homework. You listened to the community.
Thank you.
I just want to, Keith, recognize the 3 board members that served on the committee, because we did have Dan Ruski and Margaret Wirtz and Cindy Pangborn that joined us and participated. I know you had a small shot up there if it
Sure.
was on there.
Thank you.
But I do think it's important that we did include our board in that as well. And
Their names were on there. I should have mentioned them. But thank you.
Cindy? Mrs. Pingwin?
I have one question that
Sure.
as you know, I asked it when we were in meeting, and I still don't have a grasp of the answer. Because we had just started talking about the early fives class at the last meeting. We know that we have lost students to the private sector and the parochial sector over the half-day kindergarten. And parents interchange the early fives, half-day kindergarten in their own minds, because what we have found out from them is it is the half-day. They wanted their children in less hours. So what I don't understand is why our early fives goes against our competition and is going full day when the competition that people left for is half day.
I feel that the Young Fives program, it's important to have a full day experience. We discussed it as a committee, as a leadership group. Also, the FTEs that are provided are a full day FTE that would be provided. That would meet the school day hours and experience for those younger students. Many districts are doing that as well with the Young Fives. It's at a pace that's more appropriate and developmentally appropriate for those younger students. We did take a look at our survey results of what parents were looking at. It's hard to provide a program for every single person's needs, individualized needs, but for this purpose, we felt that as a group, that a full-day experience would be the right experience for our students.
It bothers me that we are not using the data that we have, though, that shows, we looked at this, why are people leaving in certain areas for the private and parochial sector? And to see that our competition is half-day, I don't see where that is welcoming those people that have left to come back with their other children. In the Grosse Points, our nursery schools, as we have planned for ours, are 3-year-olds twice a week, 4-year-olds 3 times a week, all half day. And we have quite a few parents that feel going full day, 5 days a week is too big of a jump. And that's why they have gone to other facilities.
Well,
and I just think that we need to take a second look at that to address what our competition is, and maybe we should compete better.
And that is why we do have the option for the half-day program for our 3-year-olds and for our 4-year-olds, that it's a 2-day-a-week option for 3-year-olds and a 3-day-a-week option for
Right, it's the same as the communities.
Correct.
I'm just wondering why we're not paying more attention to our competition when it comes to early fives. That has bothered me that we haven't had a bigger discussion.
Those 4-year-old students probably would meet some of those age requirements, the young fives. I mean, those are students that would be 4 years old, and they could go to that program that would be at both Monteith and Richard. So that is an option. It's not a free option. It's a tuition-based option.
Right.